Okay, good evening, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Complete Sports Media's podcast. I'm your host, Darren Campbell, and there is Jason Cameron joining me on a Monday, wrapping up a great sports weekend as usual. How was your weekend?
My weekend was good. Weekend was good. Went to a house party for a friend's birthday, two friends, and yeah, house parties are always cool. Always good
Nice.
time.
How did the
Yeah.
bottles of wine you're bringing go over? Everybody
It went
happy?
it went over well. Went over
Good.
well. Everybody was super happy that I even got them that, and was unexpected, I guess. So no, everybody was happy.
You went to that everything wine?
Yes, I did. I
Oh,
had
good.
no idea that it was that big. Like it
Yeah.
looks like they have every wine on the planet in there. So.
They do, yeah. Yeah, that place is great. We go there and buy cases. They have something like 20 wines under $10, I think, every week, and then they have, just wines from so many regions all over the world. It's a really fantastic place. So I was sort of glad I told you about it as you were going to be driving in that direction anyway. So that was good.
Yeah, no, it worked out really well, really well. So thank you so much.
Nice. Well, you had a long weekend. Yay, another long weekend.
Yep.
There's a long weekend ahead next weekend, Truth and Reconciliation Day coming up. So,
Oh, right. I forgot
yeah,
about that.
yeah. So, yeah, but you're kind of semi-retired now, so I guess weekends can be long all the time.
Yeah, that's not going to last for too long. But yes.
Nice.
It's good to have a break. That's for sure.
Yeah, today must have been nice sleeping in.
Today was super nice sleeping in, and I look forward to tomorrow's going to be another nice day sleeping in, and the next day. Yeah, it's going to be good just to recharge the batteries.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Well, I had a really great weekend. Friday got a chance to see my dad and we went for dinner. That was awesome. We had a really nice well, sort of like a late afternoon dinner, and then I went over and jumped on the ferry, headed over to Main Island, got to go see some of my family over there and hadn't been over there for a long, long time, and so that was really nice. Got a great visit in, got to explore the island, got to go on a nice hike, went to the brewery over there, had some good beers, and it was just a fantastic time. Came over, got back in time for the football, and yeah, another crazy day in the NFL. It's bizarre how unpredictable it's been. Last week was super crazy. Another, lot of games this past weekend that we were quite surprised by, and it's such a roller coaster, up and down, crazy NFL season so far.
Yeah, definitely. Like if you're in one of those pools, like the Survivor pool, you're probably done because
Yeah,
like there's been so many upsets where you're just like, what? Okay, they're not supposed to be good, and yet they beat a good team,
yeah.
and it happens.
I talked to one guy that's in one, and I think they started with almost 3,000 people, and they're down to 200. So he
Oh, wow.
said, yeah, he feels like halfway through the season, this thing will be over, and
Yeah,
they'll have to be handing out the money already. So yeah, he said it's been so crazy and bizarre. Yeah, the Saints come out of the gate, you're thinking, oh man, like world beaters, 91 points in the first two games, and then they can only put up 12 against the Eagles, who didn't look good defensively the first couple weeks. So, the Vikings, one of those teams where you're like, okay, this team's together, and boom, they go on. But then Carolina shocks everybody. Denver shocks everybody, getting wins. So yeah, it's been wild. I can't wait to break it down with you. It's going to be fun to see how these all games played out. I do want to mention off the top of the podcast, also NFL news. Eugene Mercury Morris passed away this weekend. Wanted to dedicate the podcast to him. He passed away at 77 years of age, two-time Super Bowl champion, three-time Pro Bowler, top running back on the Miami Dolphins when they went undefeated, the only undefeated season in NFL history. He had scored a team high 12 touchdowns, had over 1,000 yards that year, and goes down as one of the greatest running backs of all time. Had a pretty short career, but always revered, always talked about, especially because he was on that undefeated team, and it gets brought up year after year after finally there isn't any undefeated teams left in the NFL. So kind of good that he was on that team, and even people to this day talked about Eugene Mercury Morris.
Yeah, absolutely. It was part of history,
Yeah.
part of the one team that was undefeated and won the Super Bowl. And there was only one other team that had a chance of equaling that, and that was Brady with his Patriots. But they stumbled right at the end because you have the Brady blocker in Eli Manning.
Eli Manning, yeah, right, exactly, yeah. They brought in over Randy Moss, and you thought, wow, Belichick and Brady and Moss together. Wow, this team is unbeatable. But yeah, Eli Manning, the kryptonite for those Patriot teams, being able to beat them twice over these years, and that was it. So yeah, Morris had over 4,000 yards in his career on the ground, 31 touchdowns. Also, he was a kick returner, had over 3,000 return yards, and also 3 touchdowns there. Played with Miami for 6 seasons and then finished his career with the Chargers. He will be missed by his extended family and our condolences. But yeah, what a great life, what a great career. It was nice to see him constantly out there sipping champagne every time that NFL record was going to go another year. And it is pretty shocking that in the history of NFL football, there's only been one team that never lost a game.
Yeah, it is shocking, but it's something that other teams can chase for that perfection.
Yeah.
And maybe at one point in time, another team will equal it. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Here north of the border, some very big news. Rogers ended up announcing that they were purchasing the remaining 37.5% of the MLSE for $4.7 billion from Bell Media. They're going to have 75% controlling interest on the Leafs, the Raptors, the Argos, Toronto FC. They already had majority ownership of the Jays, and now this media empire has become just absolutely massive. We'll see if this will lead to some success and to some championships there in the big smoke. Rogers is putting their stamp on so much in Canada. They already have Rogers Arena here in Vancouver, Rogers Place in Edmonton, and now they have the majority shareholders of MLSE. Very huge news and a massive, massive acquisition.
Massive acquisition. And it's I'm curious to see where they want to take both all these professional teams, what direction we want to take and stuff. And I hope, for the fans' sake, that they're going to push it in the right direction,
Yeah.
championship direction.
Yeah, let's hope. I really hope so too. Yeah. So lots of sports to cover over the weekend. MLB is winding down into their last about week, a little over a week, and the playoffs start October 1st. So lots going on. They just announced that they had their second straight increase in attendance across Major League Baseball this year, and they will reach 70 million fans across all Major League teams for the season. That is the most sports attended league in the world, and pretty amazing that they get those types of numbers over a 6-month season.
That is absolutely amazing. It's actually kind of unbelievable that they had that much attendance for over the 6 months. So that's pretty good. Really
Yeah,
good.
it's incredible. Speaking of 70 million, the $70 million man, Shohei Ohtani, had another fantastic week. MLB Player of the Week, as well as becoming the first ever 50-50 man. He's now pushed it to 53 home runs and 55 stolen bases, and still has half a dozen games left to go to even increase that. The game that he set the record in was, some people are saying it's the greatest single game in the history of Major League Baseball, which is a couple hundred years going. He hit 3 home runs, went 6 for 6, almost had a cycle, got thrown out at third base trying to stretch a double into a triple. He had 2 stolen bases and 10 RBIs in a 20-4 shellacking of Miami. And man, this guy has just started to reach just absolutely incredible feats of in baseball history. Nobody's ever seen this type of thing. He's always being compared to Babe Ruth, who pitched and batted. Well, this year he didn't pitch at all, so it gave him, I think, a lot more opportunity to play more, to stay healthy, to be able to just concentrate on hitting the first DH, to do the kinds of things he's doing. And it's really neat to see. It just sheds so much light onto MLB, which I love the sport. It is so great to see someone come over from Japan and be able to just be this massive of a star and putting up numbers that nobody ever thought could ever be achieved.
Just so dominant on this side of the plate. And we haven't even seen him try to pitch yet, right? Like, I think in one of the years he was 4th in Cy Young running. So we know that he's really good over there as well. So I just gotta appreciate it, because we'll probably never see a player like this. We might not ever see a player like this ever again.
No, maybe not. Yeah, he's going to inspire a massive amount of people, and it's going to be really fun to see the new effect of the guys coming in. That Shohei was their hero, and the people that they tried to emulate. So it's awesome. I'm loving it. The Dodgers did qualify for the playoffs that night when he did set those records, and this will be the first time in 7 seasons that he's in the playoffs. When he was in LA, they were terrible, never made the postseason. Finally, he's going to be able to showcase his abilities in the playoffs, and there is some talk that he might be actually ready to do some relief pitching during the playoffs, and he's been pitching off some simulated mounds and being able to get ready, and that will be incredible. He'll be able to go out there and hit a bunch, and then we got to call in a relief pitcher. He'll come in and strike out a few guys. It'll be pretty neat if he also does that.
That would be awesome if he does that, because we haven't seen that before.
Yeah,
yeah,
it'll be so great. Also, speaking with greatness, Aaron Judge hit his 55th homer yesterday. Only 2 Yankees have ever hit more, Babe Ruth and Roger Maris. Ruth hit 59 home runs in 1921, 60 in 1927. Roger Maris famously hit 61 in 1961. Aaron Judge, a couple years ago, 2022, hit 62 to set the American League record and the Yankees record. I don't think he's going to quite achieve that this year, but still incredible that he's achieving this greatness again, and leading the Yankees also into the playoffs. And I just hope that we see the Dodgers and the Yankees end up clashing in the World Series. It'll just be probably the greatest television audience we'll ever see for MLB history. And I just hope that the stars are aligned and somehow they can get both their teams right there.
If that were to happen, I think the MLB would be ecstatic, would be over the moon if that were to happen, because those are 2 of their biggest places where TV viewers are watching and everything else. So
true.
If that were to happen, oh my goodness. And also too, be great for fans to see those 2 teams go at it.
Yeah. A couple of players from MLB have announced that they will retire at the end of the season. Kevin Pillar, longtime Toronto Blue Jay, has made that announcement. And also today, 4-time All-Star Charlie Blackmon will retire at the end of the season. He spent his entire major league career with the Colorado Rockies. Spent 14 seasons there, franchise all-time leader in triples, second in games played, runs scored, hits, doubles, extra base hits, total bases. Won a batting title in 2017, and just a guy through and through, just a great, great ball player. Loved watching him play. He always had that big, huge, long, thick beard, and was just like just a guy that you knew was chewing tobacco, playing baseball every day from teenager all the way to now, and he'll be sorely missed. 38 years old, had a fantastic career, and great to see him being honored so much around MLB. So many people sending congratulations on a great career, and it was bittersweet, but he's going out a Rocky, and this is really nice to see.
Cool to see. It's cool to see that his peers are giving him his flowers, so to speak, and just saying, he's had a great career. He's had a fantastic career, long career, and hopefully he has something set up for the next part of his life, because this chapter is going to be closing soon.
That's it. Yeah. The Reds fired their manager David Bell today. This was his 6th season with the team. They are 76-81. Will miss the playoffs again. He wasn't able to get the success that they wanted. They did make the playoffs in 2020, but unable to do so. So they've sent him packing. Finished with a record of 409 wins, 456 losses for the Reds. Speaking of losses, Chicago White Sox lost their 120th game of the season. That ties the 62 Mets for most losses since 1900, and they still have 6 games left to play, so they're going to smash this record. It's going to be kind of untouchable, and man, it is bad over there. You see pictures of the ballpark, and there's like almost nobody there. Like, I'm talking like almost nobody. Like, I don't even know if I saw like 100 people in the stands. It was like, this is stunning. They just not even, everybody's just completely said, forget this team, not going to attend. And they're going to have to do some serious damage to control to get the fans back. And I don't know how much they would have lost this year with just 0 fans in the stands. It must be pretty brutal, and they better figure it out soon, or it could be a long time before they make money again.
Like a long time. Yeah, they have to figure out something, because I'm sure if you're a player for the White Sox, you're just looking and going, wow, would you look at that? Once again, nobody to play for. No one.
Yeah.
That would suck. That would bring the
Yeah.
morale down quite a bit.
Unreal. Yeah. Just having to endure that many losses. Holy cow. That's gotta be rough. In the world of golf, this past weekend, LIV Golf had their final tournament of the year. They don't kick it back in until February in Saudi Arabia. They had their team competition in Dallas, and the Australian team of the Ripper GC was able to get the team win. Cameron Smith, Mark Leishman, Matt Jones, and Lucas Herbert finished at 11 under. 3-stroke victory over the 4 Aces and the Iron Hoods, both tied for second. And it was a really fun tournament. A lot of great things. Unfortunately, John Rahm got the flu and had to retire, had to leave the tournament, and that was unfortunate. But it was a really fun tournament to watch, and can't wait for them to kick back in next year. Still lots of talks going on between LIV and PGA and the Public Investment Fund, and let's hope they can figure this out in the off season, and we can go forward with both together again, and we can still have these tours apart, but you can go and play on whatever tour you want whenever. So I'm hoping that they pull it together. Most of the PGA guys are now gearing up to head to Montreal. I think a lot of them have arrived already. The President's Cup starts in Montreal on Thursday. First tee off is 8:30 in the morning Pacific time, 11:30 Eastern time. I mentioned last week, and I think I messed up. I said that the international team has never won this President's Cup, but they actually did win it once in 1998, and they also tied in South Africa in 2003. In 1998, it was in Melbourne, Australia, and they were able to get a victory. US has won this 12 times though, so 12 1-1 is the all-time record. So I expect the Americans to dominate and probably handily win this again. But luckily here in Canada, we've got 3 Canadians that we're going to heavily cheer on, and we'll be able to gather a lot of crowds from around the Montreal area, hopefully all around Canada. We've got Taylor Pendrith, Corey Connors, and Mackenzie Hughes all teeing it up. And Mike Weir is the captain. So Canada's greatest golfer ever. Mike Weir is the guy there. The last time that they had it in Montreal was 2007. And the captains put Tiger Woods and Mike Weir against each other. At the time, Tiger Woods was #1 in the world, had won 7 tournaments that year, and was super dominant, killing everybody at the time. Mike Weir ended up pulling out a victory. It was one of the greatest moments of Canadian golf, one of the greatest moments of the President's Cup as a whole. And let's hope he can rub a little bit of that magic that he had back then onto the players now and help this international team compete and possibly win. You can never say it's over, but US has obviously Scheffler and Schauffele and, all those top guys. So it's going to be fun. Can't wait to watch it. But yeah, we'll see how it shakes out in the end.
Yeah, exactly. We'll see how it shakes out in the end, but hopefully they can put up some good competition against the US.
Yeah, let's hope. It's going to be a challenge. It's going to be tough, but it should be fun. Should be really fun. The F1 was held this weekend in Singapore. This race is held at night because the heat is too brutal during the day, but for some reason the humidity rises at night. So they're talking about like 85-90% humidity in the evening, and they say these guys lose between they lose about 4 to 6 kilos during the race. And Lando Norris won the race, and they were talking to him after, and he said, I actually am having a hard time answering your questions because I'm so dizzy and I've got to go sit down and I got to get some fluids replenished in. And it was crazy. They were just drenched in sweat. And I just understand that humidity is just almost crippling there. It's a long race and it's extra brutal. And it's too bad they have to endure this. But, they've been going 15 years there now and had to just, have to face it, figure it out, and make it work.
Yeah, face it, figure it out, making it work. And they did, but I got to give credit to Norris for saying to the reporters, like, yo, I'd love to answer your questions, but I can't do that right now. I'm too messed up. So I'm going to leave, get rehydrated, get my fluids back in me. And yeah, we'll do this. Not today.
Yeah, good for him. Very smart.
But you have to do that.
You have to.
Yeah, you got to
Yeah.
do that.
So Norris was first. Max Verstappen ended up in second place, and Oscar Piastri, also from McLaren, third. Norris is now only 52 points behind Verstappen with 7 races to go. He was able to gain 7 more points on him for finishing first. And Red Bull is definitely dropping down, does not have that fastest car. McLaren is in the driver's seat now in the Constructors' Championship, and there are 7 races to go. There's still a couple hundred points to be had, but I think Max is still going to win, but I think it's going to be really a nail biter right down to the end. And it sure didn't seem like that in the early part of this season. So it's kind of good. McLaren's been able to figure it out, turn this thing around, and make it very interesting over the last third of the year.
Yeah, no, I agree. McLaren has at least made it interesting, but I agree with you on the fact that I think Verstappen's going to be able to hold on and win this season.
Yeah. Uh, 7 races to go, as I said. Their next race doesn't happen until October 20th, and that's the one, the US Grand Prix, and that's held in Austin, Texas. So they got a little bit of a break, about a little over 3 weeks off. So we won't, yeah, we won't have a race until the US Grand Prix. Also, I want to mention Daniel Ricciardo. Finished 18th yesterday, but he was able to get the fastest lap of the race, the last lap of the race, and it was the last lap of his F1 career. According to many reports, he will be replaced in his car. And he was very emotional when he talked to the reporters. The Australian, he's 35 years old. He was on Red Bull's junior team, the second team that Red Bull has in the F1. And Liam Lawson is widely speculated to grab his seat. And this will be the end for Daniel Ricciardo. But pretty incredible that he was able to get the fastest lap of the race, the very last race lap of his career.
Yeah, that was super impressive that he was able to do that for the last race of his career. But he's had a pretty impressive career.
Yeah,
So
definitely. You mentioned about reporters, and I have too. Um, there has been a lot of craziness this past weekend because Max Verstappen um, was cited for a couple of swear words that he dropped in the press conference that they had over the weekend. The F1 boss went to him, has decided that he will have to now do some community service, and he is being cited. He was very mad, very, very, very mad. The following press conference, he barely spoke. He would have 1 2 word answers and said, "Nope, yep, nope." He just decided he wasn't even going to talk at all. The F1 boss made a little statement and said, "Hey, these are race car drivers. They're not rappers." And this caused a lot of controversy. Lewis Hamilton especially is very upset, thinking that it was kind of a racial type of comment that he threw out there. And yeah, it's created a big divide between the F1 bosses and the drivers. And he just dropped 1 or 2 swear words in this press conference. And I can't believe how much they've freaked out about this.
it's amazing how much they've blown it. I think blown it out of proportion,
Yeah,
personally,
yeah,
because like these are guys are competitors at the end of the day, and if they get emotionally tinged, they use some foul language here and there. So be it.
yeah,
Not a big deal.
yeah,
Happens all the time in all the other professional sports. But what? Everybody's got to be like a perfect churchgoer for F1 racing? Yeah,
yeah.
I don't think so. I
I
don't
think they
agree.
can just go bleep, bleep, bleep like they
Yeah,
do in the
exactly.
places, and it should never, cause a problem. Of course, kids watch, all sports, and yeah, of course, you got to be good role models, but big deal. It's passionate guys talking about, heavy, heavy things in their, in their sporting life, and occasionally you're gonna drop an F-bomb or something. And yeah, it's crazy, but we'll see if he does this community service. It'd be pretty interesting to see, what they have him do, but we'll see how that plays out. We got a couple of really short notes here. The NHL preseason started on Saturday. Whole bunch of games have happened all over North America. The Canucks host their first game against the Seattle Kraken at home tomorrow. That'll be the first game for the preseason for them. That's at Rogers Arena. And on Wednesday, they host Calgary. And guess where they're going to be playing that preseason game?
In Calgary?
No,
No.
your hometown.
Oh, Abbotsford.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh,
So,
okay.
yeah, that's kind of great. They decided they would go out to Abbotsford and play against Calgary there. And on social media today, they announced a short list of players that are scheduled to play there. So, Quinn Hughes, Elias Pettersson, Jake DeBrusk, Tyler Myers, Jonathan Lekkerimäki, Carson Soucy, and Arshdeep Bains will definitely be guys that have been Canucks this past season and some of the top players on the team. So it should be a very big treat for the Abbotsford guys out there and Abbotsford fans out there. And yeah, very cool that the Canucks are doing this.
Very cool that Canucks are doing this. Even cooler that some of the top players are actually involved and going to play.
Yeah. Yeah, usually, the rosters are pared down. We talked about it a lot in the NFL preseason. You don't get to see the starters much, but all the NHL teams usually play a handful of their top players, and then they try to evaluate the younger guys or the other guys on the roster. So, yeah, it's great. I can't wait to see some some footage out of both the game tomorrow night as well as the game out of Abbotsford. The Canucks signed another goalie this past weekend. They have inked Kevin Lankinen to a deal for just less than $1 million, so that's fantastic. They are not really sure where Thatcher Demko stands right now. Archer Seelovs. So they're trying to make sure that they can have guys in place if they take a little longer to get ready for the season. Also, they don't want to burn Demko out like I think they felt like they did last year, and he ended up injured again. He has an injury that's never occurred with an NHL player, let alone goaltender. So they have been able to find 5 cases of this specific knee injury in the world of soccer. So they're trying to get some backgrounds, some treatment options, that kind of thing. But it's a rare injury that's never been seen with an NHL player ever before. It's kind of crazy.
Very crazy. Now, is it like have they actually detailed exactly what the injury is? It's not some sort of weird lower body injury, or are they doing their typical hockey thing, which is we don't disclose that because we
Yeah,
can't.
their typical hockey thing. Yeah, not given much details on what it is, what it's described exactly, what
Yeah,
ligament, what tendon, whatever it is. So,
yeah,
yeah, it's
yeah.
unfortunate. I'd like to sort of study it a bit, but kind of bizarre that a guy could come up with an injury that's never been seen in a professional hockey game here in North America. That's pretty bizarre.
It was very bizarre, very bizarre. But I'm hoping that our medical staff is obviously thinking outside the box, get him the treatment that he needs so he can have a full recovery.
Yeah. So after those 2 games here in BC this week, then they will travel to Seattle to play Friday, Calgary Saturday, and Edmonton Monday in Edmonton, and then they host the Oilers back here on Friday, October 4th. That's the last preseason game, and the season will start October 9th when they host Calgary. So yeah, just a nice little short preseason, playing a lot of teams very close by, not much travel, which is great. And then they'll be able to be back home here after that last preseason game, have 5 days to get ready for opening night.
Yeah, exactly. 5 days to prepare. And then hopefully we have another successful season coming up for the Canucks.
Yeah, fingers crossed. Yeah. Turn it to football again. CFL BC Lions coming in fresh off their bye week. They will face Hamilton this Friday at BC Place, 7:30 kickoff. They just sit one game behind Winnipeg for tops overall in the CFL Western Conference. Winnipeg, unfortunately, has won 6 in a row and are going for their 7th straight the same night. They host the Edmonton Elks, so BC needs to win and keep pace. They're facing Hamilton, which sits last in the East, but Hamilton has won 3 in a row too, so it won't be a super easy task, so they better be on. They did announce today that Nathan Rourke will start for BC. Let's hope he's able to really come out playing well and lead this team to win. And hopefully Edmonton can upset Winnipeg and we can tie Winnipeg for that first overall. It would be really nice to host a playoff game here in BC and be able to make the Grey Cup home, so we get 2 home playoff dates. That would be ideal.
That would be ideal, and hopefully we can pull that off. But first things first, Nathan Rourke has to play well.
Yeah, he sure does. Yeah. College football top 20. I've been just talking about the last few weeks, and I'm kind of done with college football, talking about all these undefeated teams and stuff. No wonder they're getting undefeated teams. They're just playing these secondary patsies, third string schools that are, have small campuses and not very many players, and David versus Goliath. It's happening again week after week after week. The top, about dozen, just slaughters week after week. Texans won 51-3. Ohio State, number 2, won 49-14. Number 5, Ole Miss, won 52-13. Tennessee actually had a ranked opponent, so they only won 25-15. But Miami won 50-15. Penn State won 56-0. Brutal, just holy crap. It's just not really good. You shouldn't be proud of a, undefeated record when you're just hammering easy teams almost all season long.
It kind of sucks. Like when you see just these severe mismatches between these teams, and you're just like, okay, well, clearly this team is just going to run amok against this other team.
Yeah.
And only time that you see good games is when they're ranked. When the teams are ranked against each other.
Ranked, yeah.
That's when you see good college football.
Yeah. The USC Trojans, number 11 going in, they ended up losing to number 18 Michigan, 27-24. That was one of the best games of the weekend. Utah, number 12, just squeaked by number 14 Oklahoma State, 22-19. A game between a good game between a ranked team and an unranked team was number 7 Missouri had to get the victory in double overtime over Vanderbilt, 30-27. And number 13 ended up losing also. Kansas State lost 38-9 over BYU. So that's kind of the shocker of the weekend there. Colorado, did you see the end to that Colorado Buffaloes game? Hail Mary by Shedeur Sanders ended up getting caught in the end zone, ended up tying it, sending it into overtime. Did you see any of the highlights?
Yes, I saw that. I saw that, and I thought that was pretty incredible. That was awesome.
Yeah, very incredible. They won 38-31 over Baylor. But I want to talk about Travis Hunter. This guy, wow, what an absolutely phenomenal year this guy's having. He is leading candidate for the Heisman Trophy. He's also leading candidate for the Jim Thorpe Award for the best running back, or for the best, receiver in the college football, and the Fred Biletnikoff Award for the best defensive back. He's playing actually both sides of the ball and absolutely starring on both sides. He's played 169 more snaps than anybody in the nation, and that guy has actually played one more game than Travis Hunter. So it's pretty wild what he's doing. He's their leading receiver with 472 yards and 5 touchdowns. And on Saturday, he had an interception in the game and forced the fumble that ended up winning the game for Colorado. It's just absolutely incredible to see what he's doing. He is the best player on offense and defense, and he's playing both all game long.
Yeah, that's amazing. The fact that he's playing the entire game on both sides of the football, and he's just magic on both sides too as well.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Definitely going to
I
be a
don't
top
know
five
what
pick.
he'll play in the NFL, but man, it's pretty amazing. He might play both sides of the ball. We'll actually have to see. He's averaging 133 snaps per game. The guy next has 87. So yeah, this is so great. It reminded me of a Instagram post that you sent me about Scott Matlock from the Chargers, who's a fullback and a defensive lineman. And after the first 2 games, he had played 37% of the offensive snaps and 22% of the defensive snaps and 56% of the special team snaps. He's on pace for 400 snaps on offense, 200 snaps on defense. First time in NFL history that will be if he makes it there. The last time anybody even had anything close to this kind of thing was 2019. Patrick Ricard from the Ravens had 342 offensive snaps and 140 defensive snaps. That was back in 2019. And there's only been one guy in the NFL this year that's even had even a couple on the other side of the ball. And that was Leo Chanel, a linebacker, had 2 offensive snaps. So what this guy's doing is unprecedented, could be record breaking, and it's pretty wild to see these guys being able to be this good playing both sides of the ball.
Yeah, like it's unbelievable that they're that good, being able to play both sides of the ball, and then also have the stamina to still perform at the highest levels.
Yeah, yeah, it's great. Okay, NFL story. Here we go. We've got week 3 in the books. It looks like both games are kind of reaching a final here. But we're going to start, as we always do, with the NFC East. And we had the NFC East is shaking out. I think a lot of people speculated this was going to be a fantastic division with a lot of teams, going after the playoffs. But the Eagles have emerged at the top of the division right now, 2-1. Commanders are playing tonight, looking like they might go to 2-1 as well. The Cowboys have fallen to 1-2, and the Giants have also sporting a 1-2 record after week 3. The Eagles' defense was terrible last week, and the Saints' offense was lighting it up. 91 points of those first 2 games. And somehow that script was just completely flipped. And we saw this 15-12 chess match, kind of bizarre, crazy game, decided by a field goal. And yeah, it was pretty bizarre. I was not expecting what ended up taking place on Sunday.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting it either. I wasn't expecting a defensive battle between these two teams. But at the end of the day, the Eagles still came up on top. Hurts 311 yards, did have an interception, but I think the guy that really helped the Eagles win this game was definitely Saquon Barkley. 17 carries, 147 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And also, Dallas Goedert was exceptional, 10 receptions for 170 yards.
Yeah. Yeah, Saquon, oh my God, to have 150 yards like that and score a couple touchdowns, that big run that he had earlier in the game, and just 65 yarder, the one touchdown. and was able to get the final touchdown with just a minute left. Incredible. And Goddard, those are career highs for him, both in catches and yardage. Jalen Hurts, another fantastic game with over 300 yards passing. And he's finding the Slim Reaper, Devontae Smith. Also, they miss AJ definitely, but nice that they were able to, utilize the weapons that they have. And Reed Blankenship picking off Derek Carr late in the game was the capper. Finished off the game, really ended up being the key moment. It looked like Carr might be able to bring them down and get the win, but Blankenship snuffed that out. Oh, are you there? You froze.
Yeah, Blankenship ended that and ended that series right there, and yep. Oh, did I freeze again?
Yeah, but I can hear you.
Yeah, no, I was just saying, and got the win for the Eagles.
Yeah.
Okay.
Surprising that the Saints were shut down. Carr didn't have good numbers at all. Olave got the only touchdown on a 13-yard catch. Alvin Kamara still had a pretty good game, but wasn't able to get in the end zone. And big surprising win for the Eagles after a terrible performance last week. The Eagles travel to Tampa Bay to play the Bucks early window on Sunday. The Saints are off to Atlanta also in that early window. Okay, let's just focus in a little bit on tonight's game. The Commanders and the Bengals. Commanders look like they're going to go to 2-1. They're up 38-26 with a couple minutes left. They were able to score on their 3 possessions in the first half, 3 touchdowns. Jaden Daniels looked great. Was able to hit Jamar Chase on some really nice passing plays. But they got their touchdowns on the ground. Brian Robinson had a TD run. Austin Eckler had a 24-yard TD run, and Jaden Daniels ran one in as well. I was not expecting the Commanders to put up 38 points and kind of dominate Cincinnati tonight.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting it either. I wasn't expecting this performance from the Commanders, but super impressive because I expected the Bengals to come up, and they have for the most part, but Commanders are just outplaying them. Plain and simple, just outplaying them.
Jaden Daniels has been one of the best quarterbacks out of the rookie class coming in this year, and he's got fantastic numbers tonight. 21 of 23, only 2 incompletions, 254 yards, and a couple TDs. He also has 11 carries for 40 yards and that touchdown that I mentioned. Terry McLaurin has a touchdown as well. I like this kid McCaffrey, this Luke McCaffrey. Comes in, has 3 catches for 44 yards, and Zach Ertz looking good. They got so many weapons, actually. When you look down their roster, Zach Ertz, Noah Brown, Eckler, Brian Robinson. There's a lot of weapons there, and so maybe we shouldn't be surprised that they're doing well. Burrow has good numbers tonight, too. 25 for 32, 285 yards, and 3 touchdowns. 2 to Jamar Chase, and 1 to Andre Iovasis. It really looks like Washington's going to get the victory here.
Yeah, looks like Washington is going to definitely get it done against the Bengals.
Commanders play Arizona on Sunday. That's in the later window, and Bengals go to the Panthers and face Andy Dalton and the Red Rifle Carolina Panthers there. That should be interesting. Dallas came in and lost last week at home. It was their first loss at home in the regular season in 16 games. I kind of thought they were going to be able to get back on the winning track on this, facing an 0-2 Ravens team. and this was pretty uh, pretty unbelievable how tight and close this game was. Dallas found themselves down 28-6 with 12 minutes left in the third. They had a furious comeback, but it fell short. They tried for two pointers after their first two touchdowns. They scored in the third quarter. They scored three touchdowns in the fourth quarter, but they failed on the two pointers, and that ended up being the difference. They would have won this game if they got both of those, but were unable to. The two beasts that fueled the Ravens' offense was Lamar and Derrick Henry, and I think we're going to say that a lot this year. Both those guys were incredible.
Both of them were incredible. Lamar, 12-15, 182 yards, a touchdown, 14 carries, 87 yards and a touchdown, and Henry with 25 carries, 151 yards and two touchdowns. So when you see backfield like that, it's like, well, pick your poison. It's going to be one guy or the other, and it's going to be super hard to stop both of them at the same time.
I know. The receiving cores were just making big play after big play. Aguilar only had one catch, but 56-yard catch. Kolar had one catch, 30 yards. Bateman had three catches, and he scored a touchdown. And yeah, this team looked really good, getting the first victory of the year. Kyle Van Noy had 2 sacks, and Kyle Hamilton was their leading tackler with 7 tackles and 5 assists. Dallas definitely can't get down that early, get down that far that early. They had to go to a very pass-heavy attack. I don't remember how long it's been since Dak had 51 attempts, but 28 for 51 for 379 yards and 2 touchdowns. So he did a lot, but they still weren't able to crawl out of that massive hole that they had given themselves.
Yeah, they were down by too much, and Dak gave it his best because he had a huge game, but just came up short, unfortunately.
Tom Brady was the analyst for this game, color analyst, and he compared Brandon Aubrey to Steph Curry. He said he's the Steph Curry of the NFL. Brandon Aubrey hit a 65-yard field goal. He's now 14 of 14 from over 50 yards. And the guy across on the other sideline, Justin Tucker, has the NFL record, 66 yards. And Aubrey was just 1 yard short hitting that 65-yarder. And Dallas is going to win some games this year because of his leg. And I'm sure both teams love that they have probably two best kickers in the NFL.
Yeah, definitely. It's such an advantage having kickers like that, and especially one kicker who you could argue is definitely going to the Hall of Fame, which would be Justin Tucker. So yes, always an advantage having kickers that you can rely upon.
Okay, looking forward to this coming weekend. We've got the Ravens hosting the Bills. Should be a fantastic game. Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. Love that matchup. That's the Sunday nighter. So all of America, North America will be watching that one. Cowboys, they go to their division rival Giants, and that's the Thursday nighter. So they're both in primetime games coming up this week.
Yep, both are in primetime games. Both are going to be excellent games to watch.
Speaking of the Giants, they got a very big victory. Finally, their first win of the year over the Browns, 21-15. This one turned into a battle of two great receivers. It was Amari Cooper against Malik Neighbors. They each got 2 receiving touchdowns to pace their both teams. They kind of canceled each other out, so who steps up? But Devin Singletary was able to get the touchdown run for the Giants, and that ended up giving them the victory.
Yeah, Singletary had a pretty good game with 16 carries, 65 yards, and the touchdown. And it was cool to see the two best wide receivers on both teams go head to head. go against each other like that. It was pretty cool,
Yeah.
especially considering that Neighbors is the rookie.
Rookie,
This
yeah. Yeah, great game again. 8 for 78, couple touchdowns, a 13-yarder and a 15-yarder, and only two carries on the ground. Uh, and yeah, he just looks awesome. Daniel Jones had a great game, 235 yards, a couple touchdowns, and the Giants were able to sack Deshaun Watson 8 times, which was massive. 9 different guys got to the quarterback and at least had half a sack or more. Dexter Council got 2 and forced 2 fumbles as well. That team. So Deshaun was in a lot of trouble all game long. Was able to, have a half decent game, but man, the Giants defense was just pressuring the heck out of them.
Yeah, Giants defense looked fantastic. They looked really, really good in this game and didn't give Watson a lot of time to throw the ball.
No. As I already mentioned, Giants host the Cowboys Thursday, and Browns go to Vegas to play the Raiders. That's the afternoon window on Sunday. Okay, let's turn to the NFC West. Seattle Seahawks, one of the 3-0 teams in the league. We've got 3-0 teams. We've got 5 of them. We've got Seahawks, Bills, Chiefs, Steelers, and Vikings. So yeah, Seahawks ended up really dominating the Dolphins, 24-3. Miami definitely not the same without Tua, and Geno Smith was great again, nearly 300 yards, looking great. Zach Charbonnet has really emerged, getting another couple touchdowns, and DK Metcalf, another great game, over 100 yards on 4 catches and a 71-yard touchdown catch where he just left those DBs in his dust, and the guy's still at such a massive man to be that fast. It's just a lethal weapon.
Yeah, it's a physical specimen. He's a physical specimen, and he can run that. He can outrun the defense. I feel bad for the Dolphins though, because they're just almost a shell of themselves without Tua. Like they're not the same football team without
No,
that guy being their quarterback.
no. Skylar Thompson started in place for Tua. He was just okay, but then he got injured, so they had to go to their third stringer, Tim Boyle. He came in and didn't have a ton of opportunities. This team was really, really shut down. To see some of the numbers that you normally see from guys that put over 100. Normally, Tyreek Hill is usually guaranteed 100. He only had 40 yards. Achan only had 30 yards on the ground and 28 in the air. Waddle only had 26 yards in the entire game. So, yeah, this team needs Tua back. We'll see if after the 4 games that he's on the IR, he does turn this around. But if not, this team is in serious trouble. And they were, supposed to be definitely contending for a playoff spot and the top of the East, NFC East. So yeah, it's or AFC East, sorry, and yeah, it's tough without 2 of them. It's really
It's very tough. Like I think they're not going to be able to go far without him being their quarterback. Period.
The Dolphins host the Titans 1 week from tonight. That's the early game on Monday, the 4:30 Pacific kickoff, and the Seahawks head to Detroit to face the Lions, and that's in the later Monday window game. So yeah, both teams will play on Monday night, 1 week from tonight. Okay, sticking with the NFC West, let's talk about the Cardinals. I really look forward to this Cardinals-Lions matchup. Kyler Murray had them looking really great first couple games of the year, and even though they were still just 1-1, you thought, yeah, this would be a great battle between the Lions and Cardinals, but it was really not, a shootout like I expected. Detroit did get the victory 20-13. David Montgomery got got a touchdown run. Amon-Ra St. Brown got a touchdown, and Jameer Gibbs also got the touchdown for them to to pace this victory over the Cardinals.
Yeah, yeah. The Lions, very good. They kept the Cardinals in check. Even though Murray had 277 yards passing, one touchdown, one interception. But St. Brown was awesome. I thought he was the one that really kept the wheels turning on offense for the Lions. 7 receptions, 75 yards, and a touchdown.
Yeah. Aiden Hutchinson got another sack. He leads the league. Kirby Joseph got a pick of Murray, and Marvin Harrison was relatively held in check. 5 catches for 64 yards. Really, they weren't turning some of their drives into touchdowns. They got a couple field goals from Prater and weren't able to pace themselves to their second win, so they fall to 1-2. Lions are now 2-1. The Lions host the Seahawks Monday, as I said, and the Cardinals host the Commanders on Sunday in the late window. Also in the NFC West, we had the Rams and Niners, NFC West battle. I did not know exactly how this was going to turn out because both teams have been decimated with injuries. Really, really tough. It's been unbelievable for the Rams to lose Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp on their for the receiving core. Half their offensive line was gone, and the 49ers have Debo out, McCaffrey out, Kittle out. You're thinking, oh man, this might be a defensive battle, and who's going to be able to emerge? The 49ers seem really, really mad that they blew this game. They were up 14-zip and 21-7, and then LA outscored them 20-3 after that. Kyron Williams was definitely one of the biggest factors, scoring 3 touchdowns, 2 on the ground and 1 through the air. And Joshua Canty, their kicker, kicked the winning field goal, 37-yarder with just 2 seconds left to give Rams the much needed win after starting 0-2, and especially in a division battle against the 49ers.
The fact that they came back and won this game, I was super impressed.
Yeah.
Like that they kept fighting, and Stafford led the charge there. He was the real reason why the Rams were able to win this game. Even though Brock Purdy had a big game, man. 22 of 30, 292 yards, 3 touchdowns, all to his main man, the guy that he definitely relied on for all the offense. Juwan Jennings, 11 receptions, 175 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Yeah. Huge game. Massive.
Juwan Jennings has to be the best third receiver in the NFL, and he was able to really show how great he can be when he gets the ball. Getting a hat trick, 3 touchdowns, 13-yarder, a 4-yarder, and a 37-yarder, 175 yards on 11 catches. That's a hell of a game. And Purdy looked great. Unfortunately, I hear today that Purdy has a back injury, had to undergo an MRI today. It didn't show any significant damage, but he's day to day, and they're not sure if he's going to be able to start this coming week.
That sucks. That's a big blow for the 49ers. Big blow.
Big blow. I expected Jordan Mason to have a great game, and he was pretty damn good. Ayuk, I thought, would emerge as well, and just was serviceable, 5 catches for 50 yards. The 49ers were going into this game 46-1 when they had a 14-point lead at any point in a game. So this was quite shocking that the Rams were able to come back. This was the Rams' first win down 14 points in 12 years. So it's been a while. I think a lot of people would have put big money on the 49ers at early points in this game when they were up 14 and had this. I heard some interesting news about Christian McCaffrey today. He is on the IR, has missed 1 game, will miss a few more. for sure. He's actually traveled to Germany to figure out what's wrong with his Achilles and his calf injury. And he's going to the same doctor that actually helped Kobe Bryant and Tiger Woods with their rehabilitation of their serious leg injuries. Kobe with the Achilles and Tiger with severe injuries from his car accident. And so let's hope they've got some miracle cures over there and really can help him on the road to recovery.
Yeah, that would be great. That'd be fantastic. Like if this guy is probably number one in his field for injury recovery, hopefully he can help McCaffrey get back onto the football field that much quicker.
They were all 49ers were also dealt quite a big blow today. Their defensive tackle, Javon Hargrave, uh, was diagnosed with a torn tricep. Will have to undergo surgery this week. They said it's going to end the season unless they make a long playoff run. He has a possibility of coming back from it, but just another blow. Both the Rams and the Niners. The Niners on the run to the Super Bowl last year were relatively healthy, and this year they cannot say the same thing.
No, no, not at all. And sometimes, like that luck, you really gotta count on it to make it as far as you can,
Yeah,
especially in the playoffs. And this year, 49ers just decimated by injuries.
yeah. 49ers host the New England Patriots Sunday later window, and the Rams go to Chicago, take on the Bears, and that's in the early window. We do have a final Washington Cincy 38-33. Bengals did score a late touchdown, but weren't not able to recover the onside kick, and so Washington gets the win. Okay, we're turning to the NFC North now. I mentioned the Vikings earlier are 3-0. They lead the division, one game lead over the Packers, and the Lions are both 2-1, and the Bears got their first win. They're 1-2. Vikings really blew away the Texans. I wasn't expecting this. I thought both teams coming in 2-0. CJ Stroud and Houston, one of the some people's favorites to go all the way this year. And Sam Darnold had another great game, especially throwing 4 touchdowns, really utilizing his weapons phenomenally. Jefferson, Aaron Jones, he's got some, he's got speedy Jalen Naylor, and yeah, wow, another really big win for the Vikings, 34-7 over the Texans.
The Vikings defense dominated the Texans. That was the story of this game. Like the Vikings defense was on point, limited Stroud to just 215 yards, touchdown, but two picks by the defense. And their leading receiver for the Texans was Stephon Diggs, 10 receptions and 94 yards. That's it. And then
Yeah.
on the opposite end, Darnold, 17 to 28, 181 yards, and as you said, 4 touchdowns. Like he was on fire. Darnold has found himself with this team.
Yeah. They decided something was wrong with Darnold's knee, and he had an MRI on it today. Luckily, it came out clean, but it must have been bothering him enough for them to actually go in for an MRI. So, fingers crossed for Vikings fans. He'll be able to, yeah, shake this off, and it won't be something that lingers. But the news about Purdy and Darnold really caught me by surprise today.
Yeah, that it's never good when your talented quarterbacks are going down with injuries.
Yeah.
Never good.
No. The Texans host the Jags Sunday. Should be able to get back on track then. The Vikings go to Green Bay, and that's Sunday also, early window. Okay. Packers. Speaking of Packers, they had a really great 30-14 victory over the Titans. Malik Willis was able to come in after Jordan Love got hurt, take over this team and get his revenge against the Titans, who just traded him in August. He was able to come in and say, why did you keep Will Levis instead of me? Hey, I'm gonna show you that you really messed up. And he had a great game with over 200 yards passing, a touchdown through the air. He also had 6 carries for 73 yards and a touchdown on the ground himself. And yeah, wow. It's pretty wild to see how Will Levis is just not doing anything, really making a ton of mistakes, throwing picks, and really harming this Titans team 0-3. And Willis getting his opportunity in Green Bay and saying, "Hey, I'm a great quarterback. Look at me."
Yeah, it almost begs the question of like, what did you not see in Malik Willis and what did you see in Will Levis? Because I know what we're all seeing right now. You probably should have kept Malik Willis big time. Like that was just a huge mistake on their part.
Yeah.
But regardless, Willis got his revenge against the Titans and looked good while doing it. Wilson had running back there, 12 carries, 50 yards, and then 2 receptions for 35 yards and a touchdown from Willis. The Packers just dominated this game start to finish.
Yeah. Getting 3 field goals from Braden Morrison, 3 converted touchdowns as well. Xavier McKinney ended up getting the big interception there. And yeah, great game for the Packers. Nice to get a pretty easy win. Titans have a lot of weapons, DeAndre Hopkins, Tony Pollard, they've got the guys, but even Calvin Ridley, but Levis is just not going to cut it, and they're going to have to make a decision pretty soon to move on and figure out who else. Carolina did it and had a great game. We're going to cover that in a few minutes. The Packers host the Vikings Sunday, which should be a hell of a battle. And the Titans go to Miami, and that's the early game Monday, as I mentioned a little earlier. Okay, sticking in the NFC North, we've got the Bears and the Colts. The Colts were able to get a 21-16 victory over the Bears. These are all NFC North against AFC South matchups, these last three. This was uh, this was not a good game for either quarterback. Caleb Williams might have, I guess he had his best game as a pro, but still made a couple of big mistakes, throwing a couple picks. Anthony Richardson didn't play very well, but really Jonathan Taylor was able to help the Colts beat the Bears in this one. Richardson throwing a couple picks, no touchdowns. But yeah, I'm definitely saying that the reason why the Colts were able to get this win was Jonathan Taylor with a couple touchdowns, over 100 yards, and a really, really solid game.
Yeah, exactly. Taylor was really the was the key to the Colts win in this game. But I was impressed with Adunze. Was the 6 receptions for 112 yards and a touchdown, and I believe that was his first touchdown as a professional in the NFL.
Nice. Yeah, he was a really good pickup by them. A lot of people were like, "Really, you're gonna go for a receiver already this early in the draft?" And yeah, he's proven to be a solid pro. Cole Kmet also had a touchdown, almost 100 yards on 10 catches, and but Caleb, yeah, like 33 of 52. They're really putting a lot on the rookie quarterback. 363 yards of offense, a couple touchdowns, but those 2 picks, he's just really got to keep better control of the ball, and they're going to be able to, yeah, finally get a victory out there.
Most certainly, definitely has to have better control of the ball, but that also goes on the other side too for Richardson. They both guys have to try to cut down on their turnovers.
Yeah. Richardson, 10 for 20, 50% is not going to cut it. He's got to be better, and we'll have to see. Jalen Jones had both picks of Caleb Williams, so had himself a hell of a day. The Bears host the LA Rams on Sunday, early window, and the Colts host the Steelers also Sunday on that. early window. Okay, we're turning to the NFC South here, and we mentioned the Saints already. They're sitting at 2-1. Bucks fell and down to 2-1. Falcons sit at 1-2, and the Panthers 1-2. This Bucks game against the Broncos really shocked me. I did not see Bo Nix being able to beat Baker Mayfield 26-7. This was pretty crazy. I was really quite surprised. The Broncos defense was absolutely massive, sacking Baker 7 times and getting 2 turnovers, and was able to yeah, pull out the victory. Bo Nix wasn't the reason why they won, but able to finally taste the victory and surprise the Bucks.
Yeah, yeah. But the one thing that was very important to Bo Nix for his game is he didn't turn over the ball.
Yeah.
No turnovers, and giving his team a chance to win, which is what they did. He still had a not bad game, 25 for 36, 216 yards, 9 carries for 47 yards, and scoring a touchdown. So, like that was the most important thing for Bo Nix in this game is just not turn over the ball, and that's what he did.
Very key. That was very key for sure. Will Lutz had 4 field goals for them, and impressive road win. Definitely think that busted a lot of survivor pools and really shocked a lot of people out there. Baker did not have a good game, and yeah, I was surprised. Mike Evans only had 2 catches for 17 yards. Godwin had a touchdown catch, but only 6 catches for 53 yards, and they were really held in check. As I mentioned earlier, the Bucks host the Eagles Sunday early window. The Broncos go to the Big Apple and face the New York Jets on Sunday. That's in the early window too. Okay, let's turn to the Chiefs Falcons game. Another NFC South versus AFC West matchup. This was the Sunday nighter, and Kirk Cousins and Patrick Mahomes. I was really looking forward to this shootout. Early in the game, Cousins ended up getting 40,000 total yards over his career. That was tied for the 4th fastest in NFL history. So good on him. Atlanta was marching late to try to win this, and that tackle by Nick Bolton, meeting Bijan Robinson in that hole, was able really the final straw, finished off that game and was so key. The Chiefs defense made a lot of big plays as the Falcons kept getting chances and getting stalled in their drives, and really helped the Chiefs continue on this win and to stay undefeated at 3-0.
Yeah, yeah. The Chiefs defense came up big. They came up big when they needed it because Mahomes, as good as he is, he can't do it all the time.
No.
You can't do it all the time. Mahomes still had 217 yards and 2 touchdowns. And then his favorite target for this game was Rashid Rice, 12 receptions, 110 yards, and 1 touchdown.
Yeah. Travis Kelce's has been voicing his complaints, not getting the ball enough. That's he had 4 catches for 30 yards. He only had 4 catches in the first 2 games, so 8 receptions over the first 3 games. Not to his liking. Xavier Worthy was really held in check as well. Had 5 touches, 3 on the ground, 2 in the air, only 30 yards. They were trying to overcome the loss of Isaiah Pacheco. Their rookie Cameron Steele came in and had a pretty decent game, 17 carries for 72 yards. Unfortunately, he had to miss his sister's wedding, and that was really disappointing. During the broadcast, they showed a watch party from the wedding. They had a big screen up there, and the whole entire party was watching the game and cheering on her brother, and that was pretty neat to see. She said that there was no way of changing the date. They got a special place, and you had to book it a year and a half in advance or something like that, and wasn't able to change it. But it was great that they were able to watch the game and cheer him on. Best game as a pro.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. That's awesome that they were able to do that and they were able to show that.
Cousins looked pretty damn good, but yeah, wasn't able to finish off some of those drives. Pretty damn impressed with the Chiefs defense. One thing that stood out was Justin Simmons of the Falcons ended up picking off Patrick Mahomes. That was his sixth career pick of Mahomes, and that's the most of any active player against any active quarterback. He's kind of has his number, and he was waiting in the weeds there. Ended up grabbing that, and kind of I could see him chirping Mahomes. Not too many DBs get to do that, and pretty impressive move by Simmons there.
No, very impressive move by Simmons, and he does have his number. So if anybody can chirp Mahomes even a little bit, that guy.
Yeah. The Chiefs go to their division rivals Chargers. They play a Sunday, 1:25 Pacific time kickoff. And as I said, the Falcons host the Saints, and that's in the early Sunday window. Okay, this was one of the shockers of the weekend. The Panthers beating the Raiders. Panthers getting their first win. Andy Dalton came in, starting in place of Bryce Young, and Dalton had a fantastic game. 319 yards passing and 3 touchdowns. His top target was Deontay Johnson with 8 catches, 122 yards, and a touchdown. Canadian Chuba Hubbard had a fantastic game. 21 carries, 114 yards on the ground, and 5 catches for 55 yards and a touchdown there. Adam Thielen got a touchdown. Miles Sanders got a touchdown. And the Panthers got off the schneid. They should have started Dalton from game one, and they might be 3-0.
You know what? Panthers look like a completely new team with
Yeah.
Andy Dalton under center. They looked great. They looked fantastic. Then they put points up on the board, and their offense was just rolling. And the Raiders really didn't have an answer. They did not have any answer for the Panthers.
Raiders coach Antonio Pierce was really, really steamed after the game. In the post game press conference, he stated that a lot of his players were making business decisions. And he said, I think we're going to make a lot of business decisions based on their decisions this week. So I expect to see a lot of changes. I'm sure they're going to scour the tape. I think there was a lot of players that were not making the tackles they should have made. Just really not a good look this early in the season. And I expect to see a ton of turnover really soon with this Raiders team. If that's the case, guys, not putting their body on the line to keep themselves healthy or thinking this game was out of reach. Couldn't pull off a win anyway. Not a good look.
No, that's not a good look, and it's definitely not a good look if the head coach has noticed
Yeah,
and is calling you out for that. So yeah, I definitely a lot of changes are coming down the line.
I would think. Yeah. Gardner Minshew had an okay game, but he got pulled. They brought in Aiden O'Connell, who had a lot of snaps as well. We'll see where they go from there. Devontae Adams is really, really frustrated. I kind of think that he's going to request a trade out of there. They might be able to get some serious talent back if they do make that move. Yeah, this team is not looking good. They came back and made this respectable, but it was pretty ugly. It was 21-7 at the half, 33-7 a minute and a half into the fourth quarter. So the Raiders ended up making it look respectable, but this was definitely just an absolute blowout. The Raiders host the Browns Sunday later window. The Panthers host the Bengals. That's the early window. And that's the NFC story complete. Turn into the AFC. The first game that I want to talk about is the game tonight. The Bills ended up absolutely blasting the Jacksonville Jaguars 47-10. Bills are now also 3-0. The Jags are 0-3. Josh Allen had 4 touchdowns in the first half. That's what he finished with. But they just kept rolling. 263 yards passing with 4 touchdowns for Allen. Also, 44 yards on 6 carries himself. Cook had a touchdown. Ray Davis had a TD. Khalil Shakur, Dalton Kincaid, Ty Johnson, Keon Coleman. I think they got some defensive touchdowns as well. DeMar Hamlin got his first career interception. Really touching moment after all he's gone through. And so many sacks for that defensive team. Wow, just a slaughter. This game was over early. The Bills scored on their first 5 possessions, getting touchdowns, just bam, 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 bam. And yeah, it was a mismatch right from the start.
Yeah, the game was out of reach right away, and the Bills just decimated the Jaguars. The Jaguars had no shot at winning this game. I felt bad for Trevor Lawrence, who was pretty much running for his life most of the game, and if he wasn't running, he was getting sacked and being put down on the ground pretty hard. So,
Yeah.
tough night at the offense for
He
Lawrence.
endured 6 sacks, and they had a fumble and an interception thrown, and yeah, this was they shouldn't have had this as a Monday nighter. Maybe it's good that they had the 2 Monday night games so somebody could switch over to that Bengals and Commanders game. Jags go to Houston Sunday. Tough game for them. Bills go to the Ravens Sunday nighter, as I mentioned earlier. Can't wait for that game. Should be a hell of a matchup. Okay, sticking with the AFC, I want to talk about the Jets and the Patriots Thursday game. The Jets finally got a really good classic performance from Aaron Rodgers. He finally looked totally healthy to me, and they were able to blow out the Patriots 24-3. His old teammate Alan Lazard got the 10-yard touchdown catch. Breece Hall got a TD run, and then Garrett Wilson got the other touchdown catch. And after what Aaron Rodgers went through to try to recover his Achilles injury, it's good to see him mobile, moves around, is able to play football. At 40 years old, oldest player in the NFL, still being able to play his trade, and he kind of looked like the Aaron Rodgers of old.
He sure did, and I don't know if you noticed, but the best stiff arm that he threw out in that game was to his own head coach. Yeah, that was
Oh,
pretty
yeah,
nice.
right.
Pretty nice.
Yeah, he did not want to hug that early.
No,
No, this game's not over. Forget the hug. Yeah, that was pretty impressive. I liked it.
super impressive. Super impressive.
Yeah,
He was super
very.
locked in.
Yeah. Will McDonald had a couple sacks, and this defense looked phenomenal. Patriots, they're in trouble. Jacoby Brissett only had 100 yards passing and was ended up replaced by Drake May. We'll see if Drake May is the starting quarterback going forward. A lot of talk that he's in that rookie quarterback class drafted in the first round. Brissett was able to get the first few games out of the chute, but we'll see if they make a change to May starting this week.
Yeah, I kind of feel that they should, because what do you have to lose?
Yeah.
Like, seriously, what do you have to lose? So
Yeah, true enough. Okay. We already covered the Dolphins when we were talking about Seattle, so we're going to talk about the Steelers and the Chargers. Chargers came in, and I really had high hopes for this team. These 2 teams are actually coming in number 1 and number 2 defensive teams in the entire NFL. Steelers, 3rd straight game that they've only allowed 10 points or less, improving to 3-0, holding the Chargers down. This Pittsburgh team is really good defensively. A lot of teams are going to struggle against them. A 20-10 win over the Chargers, and Justin Fields actually looked really great. And I think even when Russell Wilson gets healthy,
Yeah.
I think Fields is going to be their guy. I think he's really been able to prove that he should be the man.
Yeah, I think Fields has definitely cemented the fact that he should be the one running the ship. Went 25 for 32, 245 yards and a touchdown, and then 6 carries for 6 yards and another touchdown. I think he's definitely proved that he is their number one quarterback going
Yeah.
forward.
His number one target was Calvin Austin the third, had a beautiful 55-yard touchdown catch and ended up having 95 yards altogether. Pickens is always a solid guy, and Najee Harris had almost 100 yards and 5 sacks of Herbert. Nick Herbig had 2 of them. Steelers defense held LA to 168 total yards, 107 through the air, and 61 on the ground. Herbert was banged up coming in. He had a severe high ankle sprain, and he ended up getting hit, was forced to leave, and it really was causing him some grief. Their backup Taylor Haneke came in to get the mop up duty, but yeah, it's gonna be hard if Herbert doesn't can't get healthy and can't play to his full capacity. McConkey, Dobbins, and Quentin Johnson all had 44 yards on the day. Quentin did score the lone touchdown. Dobbins was held pretty much in check after 2 straight 100-yard games, leading the NFL in rushing yards. Really held down, and yeah, that defense is super formidable for the Steelers. Look out, NFL, and Tomlin going for another winning record. Never ever had a losing record since he's been a coach in the NFL.
Which is one of the most amazing things, period. Like that he's never had a losing record. And it looks like this year, definitely not having a losing record at all. I think he's
No,
going to have a winning record again this season. Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. Okay, we've covered all the divisions game wise, and just want to mention AFC North Steelers are 3-0, leading the division. They've got a 2-game lead on the Ravens, and the Browns are 1-2, and the Bengals have fallen to 0-3 now. AFC South, Texans are sitting at 2-1, leading the division. Colts are 1-2. The Jags and the Titans are the two 0-3 teams in the NFL. So even though the Texans got a tough loss, still very easy division for them. And yeah, shouldn't be much trouble for them. I just want to mention UFC had a break this past weekend, but they have a fight card coming up this coming weekend, and this takes place in Abu Dhabi. We've got Hanato Moicano against Benoit Saint Denis in the main event, which the main card kicks off at noon Pacific time. The prelims start at 9 a.m. Pacific time, obviously 3 hours ahead in the East. But this Moicano Saint Denis fight, I'm really looking forward to it. Should be one of the fights of the year.
Yeah. Yeah. It's going to be one heck of a fight. Both men love to bring each other, but that's exactly what they're going to do. And if Moicano wins, I can't wait to hear what he has to say.
Yeah.
He's got to be one of the best guys on the mic now post fight. Yeah.
He sure is. Yeah, he's a lot of fun, and yeah, he's become one of my favorite fighters. So I hope he wins, and it'll be a blast. The co-main event between Nasruddin Imavov and Brendan Allen also should be a great battle. Love both of these guys. They always bring it, and this could be fight of the night.
Could be fight of the night too as well. It's a great co-main event. Both guys are fantastic fighters, and I'm looking forward to just seeing what Brendan Allen and Imavov, what their fight plans are going to be for each other, and how they're going to do their adjustments, because they're going to have to adjust as this fight goes on.
Uh, any other fights that you'd like to make mention of? There's definitely a lot of great battles on this. Yeah, that's gonna be a heck of a great card.
Yeah, the only one else I wanted to bring up was Brian Battle against Kevin Josette. Battle looks absolutely stellar in his last fight, and
Yeah,
I want to see if he's going to have made even more steps to improve upon what we've just previously seen.
yeah,
Because if he has, then he's going to be challenging very soon for that welterweight strap. I believe if he
yeah.
makes another step forward. Yeah.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, it'll be a fun card. Can't wait. I'm glad we get it out early that day, and yeah, we can enjoy Saturday night. In the world of boxing, there was a massive upset. Anthony Joshua got knocked out by Daniel Dubois. Man, he was in severe trouble so often. He got rocked a bunch of times, was on the canvas and then absolutely just got KO'd. It was shocking. Tyson Fury was caged ringside, and he said, "Damn, that just cost me 150 million pounds," and he was pretty mad. But he said, "Yeah, that's what happens in the heavyweight division. You land a massive right." And nobody can withstand that. And but it was shocking to see his legs going. He was down a bunch of times, and to finally just get absolutely knocked out. It was a pretty shocking result.
Yeah, it was a shocking result. Dubois hammered him with great punches throughout the course of that boxing match, and with the fact that Anthony was kind of coming on
Yeah,
until he got knocked out in that round there, and yeah, good on Dubois, but it kind of sucks because it definitely changes the entire landscape of the heavyweight division.
yeah,
Because I was looking forward to the fact of if whoever wins against Usyk or Fury was going to fight Joshua. But now
yeah.
that Joshua's lost, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So
well, a lot of
we'll
people were
see.
really hoping for a big, UK battle between Joshua and Fury, and it
Yeah,
might have been the biggest fight of all time. And yeah, now this might really derail it. What's next? Who knows? But Joshua has taken some bad losses in the past couple of years here, and he seemed to be back on a really big upward trend. But yeah, this one definitely puts him back down a couple of steps, and it'll be interesting to see what's next.
yeah. It will be interesting to see what's next because this is a big loss.
Yeah,
This is a big loss for Joshua.
totally huge. Yeah, that was crazy. Um, oh yeah, there was two mentions I wanted to mention. I forgot to mention during the Chargers game, but Derwin James got a 1 game suspension today for unnecessary roughness, safety violations, they're calling them. That was his seventh in his career. So he's a repeat offender, they say. That ties him for the second most in NFL history, with Marshawn Lattimore and Jordan Poyer. Xavier Woods has the most ever with 8. I did not really think it was a severe enough hit on Pat Fryermuth. He ended up, Fryermuth was kind of falling after he made the catch, and Derwin ended up coming in with his helmet, but it wasn't super brutal. I didn't think that he was purposely trying to lead with his helmet, and so he's appealed this decision. We'll see if it stands or he has to serve one out. But they're really cracking down and getting more and more strict all the time. I was really angry. I actually almost threw something at the TV because I didn't think it deserved even a 15-yard flag, but I was surprised today when he got a suspension.
Well, I think that's more because of his reputation too.
Yeah,
That's why he got the suspension because of
right.
all the past incidents and stuff. And so they're not really willing to give him benefit of the doubt. Not
Right.
anymore.
Yeah, you're probably very right about that. Yeah, that could be that could be the case. Last mention for me, I see Reggie Bush is suing USC, the Pac-12, and the NCAA for NIL compensation. He had his Heisman Trophy reinstated this year. He had his jersey back pulled out of the laundry hamper, the garbage, back put on the wall as a retirement. They are honoring him at USC this year, and now he wants to get paid for them using his image and likeness so much over the years. And will it be interesting to see how this plays out, because this was way before this NIL ever even came into existence.
Yeah,
We'll see. It'll set a big precedent if he makes some money off of this.
I can't see how they're going to allow it to happen, because if
Yeah.
they do, then that's just floodgates, man. Like it just like it won't ever stop. Like the
Yeah,
universities will be like, okay, you have no more money.
that's true. Yeah.
It's gone.
I thought they did him dirty really bad
Yeah.
back in the day when they actually stripped him of his Heisman Trophy. They also vacated the 2004 national title of UFC, the first time ever that a major college football program was stripped of a championship. The NCAA also stripped UFC of 14 victories that Reggie Bush played in, and they really dragged him through the mud over what they called violations of impermissible benefits. So after they've said, my bad, sorry about this, we'll change it. Now he wants more, and we'll see. Yeah, I think you're right. I think they'll fight tooth and nail to make sure that he doesn't get a dime, or else, yeah, every former football player is gonna come, asking for their handout and get the money they think they're deserved.
Yeah, exactly. Like
Yeah.
I just don't think it can happen. Like, you know what I mean? Like it just can't happen. I'm
Yeah.
glad everything else has happened for Reggie Bush,
Yeah.
because all of that should have happened, him getting his stuff back and everything else.
Yeah.
Because end of the day, it was all nonsense anyways. Because all these guys getting deals, we all know it.
Yeah.
It's just that his got exposed somehow, some way.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, exactly. Okay, man. Well, that comes to a conclusion of another great podcast. Appreciate everything you bring as always, man. And so happy that you get a bit of a break here. It was a long stretch of work, so enjoy it, soak it up, and yeah, let's talk through the week. I'm gonna come see you. I got to pick up my stuff from you, so we'll make it work over the next coming days.
Yeah, definitely, man. I am looking forward to just sleeping in, recharging the batteries, like I said. And yes, we will keep in touch. And I'm gonna really like this, because I'm gonna be well rested, like yourself.
Nice. Okay, buddy. All right.
All
Thanks
right.
as always. Have a great night.
Yeah.
We'll talk soon.
Yeah. You too.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, everybody, that's another edition of our podcast. Hope you loved it as much as we did doing it. And yeah, thanks for sticking all the way to the end. Want to thank our partners and sponsors, Anchor.fm, the easiest place to make a podcast. Phenomenal at posting on multiple podcast platforms for us. Verbero, the hockey equipment and apparel company, industry leader in technology, performance, and value, and the V350 stick is a must-have. Anyone that plays hockey in your midst. Pampas and Possibilities, designers of West Coast beautiful things for your home, spruce it up, make it look fantastic. And the Forever Living, the aloe vera company for health and beauty products. And you can find those products on our website at discounted rates. So love you guys. Take care of yourself. Have an awesome week ahead, and we will talk soon. Take care. Bye for now.